Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for our latest look back at the fortunes of our 5 dearly departed sides up there in the Premier League. Not all of them in action this weekend. Fulham had their game postponed once again, but we can still look at our remaining 4 teams that I have covered down there in the Championship who found their way out and are still a big part of our channel here. I'm of course talking about Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Leeds and West Brom. Also Fulham, as we mentioned, but they're not going to be playing this round of fixtures, and it's some pretty big hitters that our dearly departed are up against. With not the greatest results this weekend, but obviously we're covering teams that were recently in the Championship, playing against established top 6 Premier League teams, 3 of them this round. So we'll give them a pass, but let's drill down into what happened. Before we do that, we'll say thank you as ever to Jay Coyle, who is our dearly departed fan sponsor for the season. Thank you so much, Jay. Dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. There are our results. Now, I am filming this about 4 o'clock on Sunday. We can get ahead. The dearly departed is all fixed up now, so the table may change slightly, and there are games going on between Newcastle and Leicester right now as we're recording, in fact, and there's Chelsea and Man City later on, and then tomorrow Liverpool and Southampton I think is the final game. But our results take in all of our dearly departed teams so far, and they were Everton 0, West Ham 1, and then 3 of our dearly departed teams there: Manchester United 2, Villa 1, Spurs 3, Leeds 0, Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. The other game there is Brighton 3, Wolves 3, and it was West Brom 0, Arsenal 4, and there's your postponed Fulham game there. So sadly, guys, a clean sweep of defeats there. But Arsenal, Manchester United and Tottenham were the opponents for 3 of our teams, and Sheffield United can't get a win for love nor money at the moment. Let's start, as ever, with our highest ranked team, which is Aston Villa. They went away to Manchester United and got beaten 2-1, but as ever with Villa this season, they had a pretty good go at it and were level until that Bruno Fernandes penalty gave Manchester United the win, which put them into second place actually. So they're in a really good moment, Manchester United. At the moment, there's your Villa team. We have the partnership of Konsa and Mings back now after illness for Konsa and then Mings suspended. Howes had done a decent job in their deputising, scored a couple of goals as well. So Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Target, Douglas Luiz, McGinn, and we're only missing from a Villa point of view, Ross Barkley, forgot his name for a second there. But Bertrand Traore and Anwar El Ghazi have been very ably assisting Jack Grealish off the front there. Ollie Watkins up top. He probably needs a goal that's coming splurges for him thus far for Manchester United. A impressive and frightening looking team there. De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, Bailly and Wan-Bissaka, McTominay and Fred, Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford, Martial, and that's not to mention on the bench there the likes of Greenwood and Mata as well. So this is what happened. There's the opening goal. Wan-Bissaka down that right hand side. You can see Mings just gets suckered in. Wan-Bissaka carries it quite further than I suspected he would and then cuts it back. So Mings is sort of too close to his goal, and it's a driven cross as well that just catches out Mings and Konsa. Martial gets in between the two of them, and it's the pace on the ball, the proximity to goal with the header, and it goes past Martinez for 1-0. Villa do get the equaliser, and We praised Wan-Bissaka, but he's fast asleep. Free kick here. He either needs to stand on the ball or get his man. And unfortunately, his man's Jack Grealish. It's played early to Grealish. He puts it across. Through it goes to Traore. Touch and finish. And his good run continues there in front of goal. Looks ably stepping up to the Premier League now. Bertrand Traore. Here is, well, another penalty incident. We're inside the box there. I don't know what this was given for, whether it was tangling legs or whether it's the arm across the shoulder. There are a lot of people who always look at the legs. And I have to say, I often look at the arms because we now know in the Premier League, if you're pulling or tugging in the box and it goes to VAR, you're screwed. They're going to give the penalty against you. So I don't know what it was given for. Pogba goes down. If it was the legs, it was an unintentional trip. But I just think players really, really need to drink in now that if they do have their arm on the shoulder and it goes to VAR, it's not gonna look good. And we're never going to see the referee's report on that one. Very quickly checked and the penalty confirmed. And up steps Fernandez, who's a tremendous player, isn't he? And sticks that one right into the corner, doesn't he, to Martinez, right-hand side after his... Well, he didn't do his hop, step and jump run up there, but he still finds the net and Manchester United get the win. So, I mean, big picture for Villa. They're now giving all of these teams good games. They've gone to Chelsea recently and drawn, haven't they, in the previous game. They're in it until late on here with Manchester United. And big picture, it's fantastic how they've improved since last season. But small picture, if there is such a thing, they were in this game and they could have got a draw out of it. You can see their okay possession in favour for Villa. The way Manchester United are set up now, they're very quick on the counter with Rashford and Fernandez linking that up and Martial. So it's no surprise though, 9 shots to 5 on target for Manchester United. 3 big chances to 2 for them. It was a tight game that Villa will possibly feel they could have got something out of it. And the next opponents are Tottenham as well. If you look at the form on the right-hand side, Villa in really, really nice form up until this defeat with 11 points in the last 5. As I keep saying, big picture, very good for Villa. Still, the 2 games in hand are playing a little bit havoc with the possible falsification of their league position. They may pick up some points in one of those games, particularly the one against Newcastle. So, they may fall if they can't get a win against Spurs, which is another difficult game coming up on the 13th. But big picture, Villa looking good. Like I say, next game on the 13th. So more time for Barkley. And if they can work him back in, who knows where they could finish. But the season is going well. And maybe chalk this one off and go again against Spurs for another difficult game. Get your thoughts in the comments on that one, Villa fans. It was Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 1. Moving on, and our next game, Spurs 3, Leeds United 0. Really good little run of results for Leeds, 3 wins in 4. Obviously, you do have that big defeat at Old Trafford, but we've discussed this, and unanimously, the Leeds fans I spoke to would have taken that loss given the extra points that came surrounding it. However, they go and visit Spurs and Mourinho and Kane and Son in this one. And a pretty hefty defeat there, 3-0 against Leeds. Meslier in goal, Dallas, Ayling, Struijk, Alioski. Leeds still missing Llorente, Koch and Cooper in the centre-back position. So maybe the little break for them comes at a good time and they can get at least one of those guys back. Phillips, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Click, Harrison. Bamford is a very standard-looking Leeds side. They're just a bit hampered by the centre-half position now. Be interesting to see if anything happens in January transfer-wise for Leeds. For Spurs, Lloris, Doherty, Alderweireld, Dyer and Davis, Højbjerg, Winks, Bergwijn and Ndombele, and that brilliant duo, Son and Kane. And Leeds become the latest team to come a cropper to Mr. Son and Mr. Kane. However, a bit of a contentious penalty, I would suggest there. And before we get that, Bennett's dearly departed, you're pandering to the Leeds fans. Plenty of you Leeds fans have disagreed with me on plenty of things before, so I'm not pandering, but they did a good bit of analysis with Rio Ferdinand at half-time, this, and Peter Walton, the ex-referee on BT. And it's very touch and go as to whether the contact was on the line here. We know that the line counts as inside, so the line is the penalty area. However, they had a really, really good angle where Alioski, let's be honest, and two things can be true here. Alioski is the wrong side and it's a rash challenge, but it may not be a penalty. You can see, unfortunately for him, again, the hand up on the shoulder as well, which doesn't work in Alioski's favour. But from my view, I thought the contact thigh on thigh was just, and it may be inches, millimetres, centimetres, whatever, just outside the box. However, when you look at that picture there, the arm on the shoulder, and we get into the minutiae of penalties and which bit of the contact do we judge? Do we judge the furthest bit of contact? Do we try and figure out which bit of contact brought the player down? We know nowadays that the contact never brings the player down anyway. So, you know my feelings on this if you're familiar with the channel. A harsh one, I think, against Leeds there. Reasonable argument that some of the contact, maybe the key contact, was millimetres, but outside of the line. Anyway, it got given, and of course, there's a picture of Harry Kane smacking a penalty in. He is super reliable and gets the goal there. And even if you're a super staunch, I say leave your bias at the door, Leeds fan, you'll admit this second goal is just superb. I've put the reverse angle up. You can see Harry Kane off to the left of the shot. They've stolen it. He's moved to the right, crossed it. Son, too good the movement for Dallas. He just runs off him. And, I mean, how good is that? It bounces and he cushions the half volley. Barely a gap to Meslier's near post there. And he curves it in first time. It's absolutely brilliant goal. And one of those where, okay, I'm sure some Leeds fans will say, with Dallas, track the runner better, but these two guys are doing it against everybody, and I think it's a great goal for 2-0. Here's the third Spurs goal, and I wanted to look at this because it's another set play goal, and yes, straight away, the caveat, maybe some of the best headers of the ball for Leeds, Cooper, Koch, Llorente, are not there. Okay, fine, I accept that, but we've talked about Leeds set plays, and it would be remiss of me to come on here now and just say set plays and not actually look at the setup, because we're getting into quite analytical discussions with you Leeds fans where we're actually looking at the setup and saying, do they need to do a slightly different setup because it's yet another set play goal. So what you can see is pretty much most people in there are man-to-man. It looks like there's a spare player, it's the small pictures, I can't quite identify who that is, about sort of 15 yards out middle of the box. That looks zonal. And you then have Rafinha on the front post with Bamford in that position. And Bamford is a good header of the ball, where you're in line with the near post. So you've essentially got three zonal and the rest man-to-man there. And the big argument I'm hearing for Leeds fans is, and Spurs have only got 4 players in the box there, and Leeds have got, including Meslier the keeper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 2-1. The corner's going to come in from Son. And the argument I'm hearing from Leeds fans is, a man on the far post or a man on the near post. Now, in this instance, the man on the near post would have helped. But what happens when this cross comes in, it's going to go to the near post. You can see where the Spurs players are moving. And there is Alderweireld, will wind it back with Calvin Phillips. You can see Alderweireld's there on the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's almost like Spurs have been quite clever there and tried to make it clear for their corner taker, not bunching it up. Good ball, good delivery, get the run, create some space. There's no blocking going on. It's gone into that area and it's headed in there. Meslier maybe could do a bit better, but look, it's a header 2 yards, 3 yards from goal on the near post that goes in and he can't quite keep it out. I saw a bit of criticism actually for Calvin Phillips for his defensive work. I think Calvin Phillips is a great player, but in the comments on my video after the Manchester United game in the 6-2, and again he's been beaten to the punch here for the third goal. Let me know what you think. Is this just a case of if players do their jobs on the man-to-man guys, if they do their jobs, then this is fine? Or do you think Leeds should go for a slightly different setup there because it's not working, is it? Maybe it would work better with the other centre halves, and I do accept that point. Let me know what you think in the comments. One more bit of controversy here. Well, not really. Second yellow card for that challenge by Matt Doherty on Pablo Hernandez. Spurs end with 10. There are the numbers, and Mourinho will be terribly happy with that, won't he? 36% possession, but Spurs still 20 shots to 18 and 7 shots to 5 on target, and only one big chance conceded. So I suspect he'll be happy with that, Mourinho, won't he? Even with the 18 shots, they've not created many decent openings, and Spurs themselves have created the 4 big chances and missed 2 of them, indeed. 14 shots inside of the box. So we've gone round the houses talking about philosophy for Leeds. The idea is of Bielsa, the absolutist, and they'll improve, and then they'll add in slightly better players, which will mean they can execute even better. And there will be games like this, and let's be fair, Kane and Son have hammered everybody, haven't they? Particularly for that second goal. Brilliant. And all of that with the mitigating factor of either side of that, a somewhat contentious penalty call and another set play goal. So could have been tighter, but Leeds go under in this one. The recent results, though, is absolutely fine. And if you look at the pattern emerging, no draws in there other than the Arsenal game. And Leeds really should have won that, shouldn't they? Arsenal sat in with the 10 men and Leeds hit the post and the bar 3 times, I think, didn't they? Otherwise, wins against Everton, Newcastle, Burnley and West Brom. Defeats against Spurs, Manchester United, West Ham and Chelsea. So if that means that Leeds are a mid-table team, then I'm sure all you Leeds fans will be perfectly happy with that. You'd want the pattern to continue because the next game's against Brighton and the return of Ben White against Leeds there. Much sought after player, excellent for them last season. But the pattern would suggest a win may well come against Brighton and things will look rosy. So let me know what you think on that one down in the comments. Spurs 3, Leeds 0. On we go. We'll do this one very quickly because it is a second straight postponement for Fulham. They were due to travel to Burnley, but you can see there the run of 4 straight draws, now punctuated by 2 postponements of 2 away games that will need to be fitted in. So Fulham will next play on the 15th, and their previous game having been on Boxing Day. The trend is okay for Fulham. They need wins, but moving in the right direction compared from the start of the season. And other than that, nothing to talk about with Fulham as their trip to Burnley having been postponed. Plenty to talk about, however, with regards to West Brom and a second large home defeat here. Remember, the The previous game was a 5-0 home defeat against Leeds. This one, 4-0 against Arsenal. I hear the jokes in the comments. Well, that's an improvement, isn't it? 5-0 to 4-0. It's not good enough, though, is it? And strange, because we thought, here comes Big Sam after that 1-1 draw at Liverpool, and then 2 home games and no goals scored and 9 against. Not good from a West Brom perspective. There's the team. Johnston, Furlong, Ajayi, Ivanovic, O'Shea, Diane, Garner, Gallagher, Sawyers and Phillips across the middle, Pereira and Robinson. And I've listened to Big Sam's last couple of post-match interviews and focuses on 2 things. 1, the squad, and 2, keeping clean sheets. So expect some action very, very soon. Big Sam will likely go with former players as well, although he has been out for 18 months, 2 years, I think. So we'll see what he comes up with. There's the Arsenal team. Leno, Bellerin, Holding, Mari, Tierney, Ceballos, Xhaka, Saka, Smith Rowe, who I remember punishing West Brom at the end of last season with Huddersfield there on loan when really handed Leeds the title that game, didn't it? Aubameyang and Lacazette, who's going to get 2 in this game. There was a reasonable chance for West Brom in this game. Pereira scooping the ball over the top for Phillips. He kind of waits for it to fall on the volley and it won't come down, and he can't quite get a powerful enough shot or something into the corner. But I think Allardyce will like Pereira, and if they can get solid foundations behind him, I think he might let him play in the creative role there. However, we need to talk about the defending now, because 4 goals are going to go in. And, do you say Darnell Furlong, hang your head in shame, or do you say great goal by Kieran Tierney? Does he need to commit a tactical foul here? Tierney knocks it around the outside of him and runs around the other side, and Furlong lets him go. And then he comes back inside him into the box. Now he can't touch him. And it is excellent from Tierney with the right foot there. But having been beaten in that manner, maybe we don't like to see it, but we do like to see it, don't we, really? The maybe stand him up here, obstruction, stop him by any means necessary. But it's a great goal by Tierney. 1-0 to Arsenal. And there's the second, Smith Rowe squaring that up for Saka. And the movement, too much. And we saw that with Leeds, didn't we? Arsenal moving that ball nice and quickly, and West Brom unable to stop them for 2-0. There's the third, a bit of a cringy one. This one, it gets crossed in. It hits the post off Ajayi, then there's a save, and then it comes back out. And the one guy with some composure there was Lacazette, who sticks it in the net. And the fourth one's really poor, isn't it? Because that's the Arsenal striker, middle of the goal, just completely on his own. Tierney with the assist. He must have cleaned up on Fantasy League, mustn't he? A goal and assist and a clean sheet. Boom. And Lacazette, well, he just throws his sort of knee at it and it goes in. 4-0. And the numbers, not great either. 62 on the possession. We expected that. But what is going to need to happen when we're looking at the numbers as it pertains to Allardyce's style is the big chance count needs to become even, doesn't it? We have seen many, many times on the channel a team not have much possession and seemingly not much territory, but with the ball, they do create the big chances, and the defensive strategy stops the opponents. People have been doing it for donkey's years. Didn't work in this one. Look, 5 big chances to 2, 4-0 and 2 big chances missed as well. Hit woodwork there for Arsenal. The one good thing for West Brom is they did create the 2 big chances, and Allardyce kept saying in the interviews, can they defend as a team and get those clean sheets? That's what's going to be worked on. But not good if you look on the right there, as you're looking 5-0, 4-0 in the last 2 games. Really, really poor. And look at that. Wolves versus West Brom, the Premier League edition of that derby meeting. I wonder, 14 days in between these 2 games, how many debutants will be featuring in that game if Allardyce can do his business in the January transfer window. Let me know what you think But I think the picture, like I say, will be clearer, certainly at the end of the window and maybe by the next game. Needless to say, not a very good day for West Brom. Get your thoughts in the comments. West Brom 0, Arsenal 4. And last but not least, or, well, this season, last and least, sadly for Sheffield United, it's another week, another show, another Sheffield United review, another defeat. No goals scored in this one. Crystal Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. And look on the benches as well, down to the bare bones there. Antoine Hackford, the young player, is going to make his debut, and only 6 substitutes out of the available 9 named. Wilder there going with Ramsdale, Ampadu in at centre-half, Egan Stevens playing at centre-half as well, which means Basham has to go and work in midfield. Famously, that did work in the massive win at Leeds in that Premier League promotion chase. Didn't work today, sadly. Look at that, Basham, Norwood, Fleck. That was probably the midfield 3 that day, wasn't it? Someone will correct me in the chat. Osborne and Bogle are the wing backs. So Baldock starts on the bench. Interesting. Changing of the guard there? Who knows? Or Wilder just trying whatever he can. McGoldrick and Mousse up top. So Brewster's on the bench. No McBurney around. For Palace, Gaeta, Ward, Tompkins, Koyate, Mitchell, Schlupp, Milivojevic, MacArthur, Townsend, Zaha, Benteke up top. And Wilder keen to point out Zaha, Benteke, Townsend, Schlupp, the quality of the 4 attacking players. However, it's not a great opening goal. Tackles not made, bit of disorganisation. Benteke slips it through to Schlupp, and I didn't notice it other than on the replay, but a deflection on it, as well as they're struggling to get back, and I think it's Egan throws himself at it. And Wilder said himself, you just can't start games like this. But in the experience of watching my team Ipswich stink out the Championship in 18-19, non-confident teams concede early goals. They really, really do. It's just that fragility, just not able to get a foothold in the game. And that's sadly how we're describing Sheffield United here. Somewhat of an opening. Can Bogle clip that to the back post from McGoldrick? He drives it at the keeper. I think it's Mousse in the middle there. But that was as good as it got attacking-wise in the first half. And just before half-time. And let me know, is your glass half full or half empty? Is this a brilliant goal by Eze, or incredibly naive to let him do this at this point in the game? He picks it up. Their lovely first touch. He beats Osborne really easily. This is the one that will get the Blades fans, though. Ampadu really, and frankly, Ampadu did get ran past for both of the goals. And Wilder was saying, look, bring him down. Stop him, for goodness sakes. They let Eze continue and continue. I love the way Eze glides and he hits it, strokes it low into the corner. But he ran from such a long, long way. So we're probably in two things are true territory here, aren't we? It is a great goal, but yeah, there's a very lame tackle. In the middle of it, it's 2-0 and it's Roy Hodgson away from home and the bottom team in the league with only 2 points. And no good. We know how this one's ending. Now, I believe that is the youngster whose name I've forgotten, Hackford, in the box there. So we won't criticise it because it's presumably his debut. But is that Osborne? Open on the far post. Excuse me, blurry picture. But the shot is blocked. And no goals again. No points again for Sheffield United. A depressing old tale for the Blades this season. The numbers say, yet again, they're in the game, but they're just losing the big moments, aren't they? And losing games hand over fist over and over again. 9 shots to 7, 4-2 on target in Palace's favour. No big chances in the SofaScore definition there. So it is tight, but what those numbers never tell us is the game state, and you know that Hodgson would have had Palace sat back in that second half, just waiting to collect the 3 points and not letting Sheffield United in behind. there is the last 10 games. Absolutely woeful, isn't it? 1 point in 10. And Newcastle next at home. Is that a chance? I've thought many, many times, come on, get the win, get it done. But the records are piling up. And I'm being asked frequently, Ben, would you fire him? I'm still in the Chris Wilder fanboy camp after the brilliant journey that I watched in the Championship. But I do understand the argument, and I've said this previously on the channel, I do understand the argument that what damage is being done by this season. If the damage is long term, then they need to do something. But there is that argument that Wilder and Brewster and McBurney and Bogle keep those players, bank the parachute money. I don't know who the big sales are going to be. Maybe Berger back out to Europe to recoup some money. I don't know. But that sounds like a pretty solid Championship promotion team, because we are really just looking at Sheffield United as nailed on to go down. Get your comments in on Crystal Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. And that brings us to the league table. And I have just checked, because we were in game when I took that screenshot, Leicester have beaten Newcastle. So at time of recording, that is correct. However, and particularly as it pertains to Aston Villa, Chelsea and or Manchester City will be scoring points in the next couple of hours. And also you have Southampton potentially. I mean, they're playing Liverpool, so we'll see. But let me say, at time of recording, Villa in 7th. Possible worst case scenario is a drop down into 9th position. But flying the flag there, and with the games in hand as well. Leeds drop to 12th. Next game is against Brighton, so a chance to bounce back for sure there. Seemingly beating the teams down the bottom and losing to the ones higher up, which is absolutely fine if you want to stay in the Premier League, which I'm sure is the sort of minimum that Leeds fans are going to want. Fulham haven't played now, 2 games in hand. Is that a blessing? Is it a curse? Let me know in the comments. West Brom, like I said in the individual review, let's see what Big Sam does now, because they're, without any significant change, they're going to be relegated, aren't they? They're now 6 points back. Sheffield United are 12 points back, and you know we look at it and we do the maths, but let's not even bother with the maths this week. They're going down unless we start to see 4 points from 2 games, and then 7 from 3, and then maybe 8 from 4 or something. Then we can have the conversation. But it feels like, and I hate to say this, got a lot of Blades friends. It feels a bit of a waste of time doing the number crunching at the moment, doesn't it? So, excuse me, unless we get the most miraculous comeback from being adrift in Premier League history. Right, that's our show. Get your comments in. Really, really great support over the last couple of weeks, over the Christmas period. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you again to Jay, who's our fan sponsor, and he did that over on Patreon. So please go and support over on Patreon. If you watch my videos regularly or just 1 and 2, I'm trying to do this full time, and for as little as $3 per month, you can support the channel, and it really, really does mean a lot. We've got plenty of people who have done that, and we're getting to the point where this is viable and I will be able to do it for a living, which is wonderful. But I couldn't do it without that support. So if you're umming and ahhing about it, you genuinely could make a huge difference to a fellow football fan's ambitions and, well, frankly, job going forward in 2021. With all of that being said, it's a big thank you for watching. Get the debate going down in the comments. Leave your bias at the door. Try your best. Let's try and make this the place on or in the YouTube football space where we can actually have a sensible, balanced debate that isn't completely just hijacked by people's implicit bias and love for their teams. That's great, and I love all the fan channels, but we've got a good reputation here for sensible, neutral conversation where we actually look at the facts, not what's coming out of people's hearts and what they want to happen. So obviously we love the emotion of the game, but it's a nice niche for us here. So get your comments in and leave your bias at the door. With all of that being said, it's a lovely Happy New Year from me and a big over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.